Judge tosses out 1961 convictions of 9 civil rights protesters. By Associated Press, adapted by News ELA staff on 12915. Word count 571, level 1140, Lexile. Caption: in this February 1960 file photo, people take part in civil rights sit-in protest at the lunch counter in McCrory's in Rock Hill, South Carolina. A prosecutor on January 28, 2015, argued a motion to vacate the convictions of a group known as the Friendship Nine. Associated Press/The Herald file. Rock Hill, South Carolina. On Wednesday, a judge tossed out the 54-year-old convictions of 9 South Carolina black men, known as the Friendship Nine. The men had challenged racial segregation laws in 1961 by sitting at a lunch counter that only white people could sit at. The judge's ruling came following an emotional hearing before a packed courtroom. We cannot rewrite history, but we can write history, Judge Mark Hayes said as he handed down his ruling. In response, those in the court clapped and cheered. Prosecutor Kevin Brackett apologized to the men, 8 of whom were in court. The 9th has died. Sometimes you have to say you're sorry. My heartfelt apologies for what happened in 1961, Brackett said. Jail, not bail. The 8 college students and 1 civil rights organizer staged their protests during the height of the civil rights movement. All were convicted of trespassing and protesting at McCrory Variety Store in Rock Hill. After they were arrested, the men refused to pay bail. They argued that the money would go to the town government, thereby strengthening Rock Hill's leaders and helping to keep segregation in place. Inspired by their courage, demonstrators across the South adopted their jail not bail tactic and filled jail cells. The media attention helped turn scattered protest into a nationwide movement. The Friendship Nine included 8 students from Rock Hill's Friendship Junior College: W.T. Dub Massey, Willie McLeod, Robert McCullough, Clarence Graham, James Wells, David Williamson Jr., John Gaines, and Mac Workman. Thomas Gaither, who had come to Rock Hill as an activist with the Congress of Racial Equality, was another member of the group. It was he who had encouraged the students to break the town's Jim Crow laws, which kept blacks out of many restaurants and hotels. Time to clear the records. About a year had passed since a sit-in at a segregated lunch counter in Greensboro, North Carolina, helped jumpstart the nation's civil rights movement. However, change was slow to come to Rock Hill. The men decided to challenge matters by getting arrested in February 1961 for ordering lunch at McCrory's Variety Store and were convicted of trespassing and breach of peace. Author Kim Johnson, who published No Fear for Freedom, The Story of the Friendship Nine last year, went to Kevin Brackett, the chief law enforcer for Union and York counties, to see what could be done to clear their records. This is an opportunity for us to bring the community together, Johnson told the Associated Press before the ruling. To have the records vacated essentially says that it should never have happened in the first place. Brackett's request to a Rock Hill judge came too late for McCullough, who died in 2006. However, some of the others returned to town ahead of the hearing to reflect on their experience. About forgiveness. The men's names are engraved on the stools at the counter of the restaurant on Main Street, now called the Old Town Bistro, and a plaque outside marks the spot where they were arrested. Official and personal apologies have been offered to the men over the years. In 2009, a white man named Elwyn Wilson, who had tried to pull one of the protesters from a stool nearly 50 years earlier, returned to the same counter. Wilson met with some of the Friendship Nine to apologize, and they forgave him.